What if the reason you feel drained by the end of the day isn't your schedule? It's your environment. Research on cluttered spaces and stress hormones points to something Japanese urban design figured out a long time ago. The way a room is arranged, the way a surface is left intentionally empty, the way objects are placed for immediate use, all of it affects your body at a physiological level. There are 12 concepts that explain exactly how this works, and they're all actionable starting today. Number 1, Omoyari, consideration for others. Tokyo has 14 million people, and its subway system moves most of them every single morning, packed into cars so tight you're sharing air with strangers on all sides, and yet it's often quieter than a library. That's not a rule people follow, it's omoyari at work. Omoyari is the practice of anticipating what the people around you need before they have to ask for it. You don't play audio through your phone speaker because you've already thought about the person next to you. You don't crowd the door because you've already mapped where everyone else needs to go. When the people around you are running that process constantly, your nervous system stops scanning for threats. Unpredictability is one of the strongest drivers of cortisol spikes in social environments, and Omoyari removes it at the source, not by enforcing silence, but by making consideration a default behavior that everyone around you is already running. Number 2, Ma, respect for space and pauses. There's a specific kind of tired you feel after a day spent in a cluttered room, and it's not from the work you did. It's from everything your eyes kept landing on that had nothing to do with the work. Ma is the Japanese practice of leaving space intentionally empty, not because empty looks clean, but because your brain has to process every object it sees, and that processing adds up across a full day. Put one object on a clear surface and your brain reads it instantly. Put that same object on a surface covered with 10 other things, and it stops being a tool and becomes noise. Your brain actively works to filter out, which costs energy every single time. Number 3, Shitsuke, self-discipline and good habits. Every morning in Japanese schools, kids sweep their own classrooms before the first lesson starts. No janitor shows up. No teacher reminds them. They just do it because it's been drilled in so many times that it stopped being a decision. That's Shitsuke. It's the practice of repeating a maintenance behavior until your brain stops filing it under things to decide and just runs it automatically, which frees up the part of your brain that handles actual thinking. When you don't have to consciously decide whether to reset your desk or put something back where it belongs, those micro-decisions disappear from your daily budget entirely. The space maintains itself through habit, and your prefrontal cortex stays available for work that actually needs it. Number 4, Seiketsu, maintaining order and cleanliness. Japanese manufacturing plants don't clean up after messes. They build the environment so the mess can't happen in the first place, and the concept behind that is Seiketsu. Seiketsu works by defining a precise baseline state for every space. What goes where, what the surface looks like when everything's correct. So any deviation is immediately obvious without any judgment required. You don't ask yourself whether the desk is clean enough. It either matches the standard or it doesn't. That binary is much cheaper for your brain to process than a sliding scale of acceptable disorder, and decision fatigue research backs that up directly. When the standard is preset and visual, the micro-decisions around maintaining a space basically disappear, and Japanese workplaces using this system consistently show lower error rates as a result. Number 5, Kaizen, continuous small improvements. Toyota's production system wasn't designed by engineers in a boardroom. It got built through thousands of tiny fixes made by the people actually doing the work. Line workers who spotted a small problem and fixed it the same day rather than filing a report and waiting. That's Kaizen. One small friction point removed, consistently, every day. A drawer that sticks. A cable that crosses your path every time you sit down. A shelf where nothing quite fits, so you're always rearranging before you can get started. Each one costs you a small amount of attention every single time you hit it. Behavioral research on friction costs shows those small hits add up across a day and quietly pull down your decision-making quality by the end of it. Number 6, Wa, social harmony. Walk into a room where the furniture doesn't match, the lighting feels wrong, and the objects on shelves have no visual relationship to each other, and you'll feel something off without being able to name it. Wa is about coherence, the degree to which everything in a space agrees with everything else so your brain doesn't have to work to reconcile the differences. In Japanese interior design, that shows up as consistency in materials, tones, and proportions, not because it photographs well, but because a coherent visual field is faster and cheaper for your brain to process. Perceptual fluency research confirms that people experience visually coherent spaces as calmer and more trustworthy, even when they can't identify why. Your eyes move through the room without snagging on contradictions, and that frictionless movement costs you almost nothing. Number 7. Mottainai, avoiding waste. The average American home contains roughly 300,000 objects, and research on attention and ownership shows that your brain maintains a low-level awareness of every single thing you own, whether you're looking at it or not. Mottainai translates roughly to "what a waste," and it applies just as much to owning something unused as it does to throwing something away. You own fewer things, use them fully, and repair them when they break, so your space stops filling up with objects that your brain keeps quietly tracking. That shift changes what you bring in, not what you throw out. Most decluttering systems attack the symptom. Mottainai cuts off the supply at the source. Number 8. Shogunai, accepting what cannot be controlled. A big chunk of decision fatigue doesn't come from decisions you make. It comes from decisions you keep reopening, situations you can't resolve but can't stop turning over mentally. Shogunai translates roughly to "it can't be helped," and most people read that as giving up. It's actually the opposite. It's the practice of recognizing when a problem has no solution you can affect and deliberately stopping the mental processing around it, because your brain will keep running that loop indefinitely if you let it. Number 9. Omotenashi, thoughtful hospitality. In high-end Japanese hotels, the tea is already poured before you sit down. The towel is folded so you can grab it without thinking, and every object in the room sits exactly where you'd naturally reach for it. That's omotenashi, and it's not a hospitality quirk. It's a design principle. Most people arrange their spaces based on where things fit, then adapt their behavior around whatever they find. Omotenashi flips that. The space gets built around the behavior, so you never have to search or rearrange before you can start. Number 10. Seiri, removing unnecessary clutter. The 5S system used in Japanese workplaces starts with Seiri, and there's a reason it comes first. Most people trying to get organized are working around objects they should have removed weeks ago. Seiri means sorting, and the only question it asks about any object in your space is whether it belongs there for the work you actually do there. Not whether it's useful somewhere, not whether you might need it eventually, just whether it belongs in this specific space for this specific purpose. Everything that doesn't pass gets pulled out. Number 11. Seitan, organizing things for easy use. Seiri clears the field. Seitan answers what comes next. For every object that stays, where does it live? And how fast can you get to it when you need it? Most storage systems are built around hiding things. Seitan is built around retrieval, so the optimization looks completely different. In Japanese workshops and kitchens, tools get placed by frequency of use and sequence of use. What you reach for first sits closest. What you use together gets stored together. There's no searching, no rearranging before you can start. Number 12. Seijaku, cultivating calm amid activity. There's a specific kind of quiet you notice in certain Japanese spaces, temple gardens, the waiting room of a well-run train station. And it's not the silence of an empty room. It's calm that holds its shape while things are actually happening around it. Seijaku is that quality, and it's what you get when enough of the other friction sources are gone simultaneously. Your nervous system stops running background checks on the environment and can actually settle. Research on restorative spaces shows the recovery benefit compounds with how often you return, not how long you stay. Brief, repeated exposure to a low-stimulation environment resets your stress response before it fully builds, and that's measurable. Minimalist spaces designed around these principles show cortisol reductions of up to 22%. None of these 12 concepts are about aesthetics. They're a functional system for reducing the number of things your environment asks of your brain every day, and the research behind them points to real physiological outcomes, not just a tidier desk.